Hometown Ghost Stories contains serious and often distressing events and is not intended for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to A Dark Mystery. Today I will be your narrator, your host, Rob Coakley, and my unknowing sidekicks for this episode are Jesse Wilkins.
Hello there.
And Dave Wilkins.
Hello there.
And we are going to be talking about something that happened in 1855. Jesse and Dave do not know anything about this tale, so it is one of those ones where I just start weaving a story and they will react as we go through. Without further ado, gentlemen, are you ready to get into this tale?
I'm so ready. I don't know.
It was the morning of February 9th, 1855, and the residents of Devon, England woke up to find the countryside blanketed in a fresh layer of snow. But the snowfall wasn't what people were talking about. It was the footprints, 40 to 100 miles of them, appearing to have been made by something that defied explanation. That particular winter had been brutally cold. A bitter storm the night before had dumped snow across the region, and temperatures dropped so low that even the rivers were beginning to freeze. It was the kind of cold that makes everything still and silent. But whatever had moved through the villages that night did so with incredible purpose. When the sun rose, what it revealed was something unnatural. So, this is our setting. We're in 1855. It is Devon, England. They are experiencing an exceptionally brutal winter, and they wake up to a fresh layer of snow, and there are footprints. But we haven't really described these footprints yet.
That's what I'm waiting for. There's a lot of footprints, though.
There's,
40 to 100 miles, and the bitter cold snow, too, is definitely an interesting detail.
Yes. Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. The tracks resembled those of a donkey or a cloven-hoofed animal, but there was something immediately off about them. Instead of the four-legged gait you'd expect from such a creature, the prints were in a single, perfectly aligned file, as though the thing had walked on two legs or was capable of placing each footfall in front of the last with unnatural precision.
Typical donkey behavior.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, it's typical donkey behavior.
Yeah.
It's cold, they get up and they walk on their hinds. Like this. Or they actually do handstands and walk on the front.
Oh. Well, it's still one line, though, is the thing. That's what it's not like 2 feet next to each other. The footprints are perfectly straight.
I figured it out. It's one kid with a deer hoof pogo stick.
Yes, in 1855.
Yep, for 100 miles.
We will get into theories, and I will ask your theories in a bit. They weren't just in fields or pathways.
Pogo stick was invented in 1919. Couldn't have been it. Yeah, but the deer hoof pogo stick is what I'm talking about. The earlier models, yeah.
They weren't just in fields or on pathways. The tracks went over walls, crossed rooftops, traversed narrow gardens, and most disturbingly, stopped occasionally directly in front of people's doorsteps and windows, as if the creature was examining their homes.
Mm. Oh, it was a one-legged deer home inspector. It's the only possible explanation. Listen, if we solve this before it gets to the end of the story, we just have to do something else, right?
Some even claim the tracks approached doors, circled them, and moved on like it had tried to get inside, but found something stopping it. In at least one case, the tracks were reported to go through a 6-inch diameter pipe, an impossibility for any living creature known to man. And I didn't find much about that. It was just like 1 or 2 quick mentions of it. So I don't know where that particularly was. The footprints measured about 4 inches long and 3 inches wide, spaced roughly 8 inches apart. But it wasn't just their shape and direction that unnerved people. it was the nature of the impressions themselves. So all of these were pretty uniform. 4 inches long, 3 inches wide, spaced almost 8 inches apart each time. So it's a very unique set of circumstances so far. Some said they looked seared or even burned into the snow, not simply pressed into it, but melted down into the drifts as if by heat. One witness described the marks as being branded into the ground rather than imprinted. And I didn't see many mentions of this as I was researching this. It was a lot of stuff about the hoof prints, but there was only, I think, 2 times that I saw them mentioning it about being like almost burned or seared into the ground.
Burned and seared are 2 weird descriptor words for something in the snow. Because you can't burn or sear snow, to my knowledge. Maybe if something's hot enough. I have no idea. Maybe it's, like they have deep fried ice cream, where if it gets so hot so fast that it doesn't just melt, it deep fries basically. Maybe if it's hot enough. Maybe there was like a burn mark around the grass of underneath it or something. I'm not sure. Yeah,
I'm not sure. As word spread, fear took hold. Men from several villages gathered to track the beast. Armed with guns, pitchforks, and accompanied by hunting dogs, they tried to follow the trail. But they quickly discovered that tracking this thing was not like pursuing an animal. The trail didn't make sense. It would vanish at walls, only to appear again on the other side. And the interesting part about this is there were marks on top of these walls too. So it would be on the ground, the mark would be on top of the wall, and then the footprint would be back on the ground on the other side again. In some areas, the tracks were found crossing wide rivers without a break. No ice, no boat, just a straight line across the banks. This thing was just moving with extreme precision, and nothing was stopping it. It would just go up and over if it had to. Even the hounds, trained to hunt, reportedly became agitated or refused to follow the scent. There are accounts of the dogs whimpering, digging at the snow, or outright fleeing. Whatever had left those tracks, it was something they didn't want to confront. So
you'd think, right?
I mean, I would think you wouldn't want to confront whatever this thing is. We're going to get into theories real quick, but I just want to backtrack a little bit. The prints covered a 40-mile radius, basically, or a 40-mile length. But with the way it twisted and turned going around, they said it could have traveled over 100 miles to go that 40 miles through the different towns and villages.
Oh, so like it went 40 miles, like linear distance, but did it in like a weaving, strange manner.
Right.
So that accounted for actually like 100 yards.
100 miles.
So they went around and so they went around and followed these tracks to like figure out how long.
Well, I think they basically just were measuring it from village to village, and then they were just talking about how it weaved in and out, and that's why the estimate is between 40 and 100 miles, because they said that it just weaves so much. They don't have an actual measurement, but they know that it probably was double the length to get to where they actually ended.
Right.
So it's a very strange case, and it happened in one night is the other thing. It wasn't like they were seeing these things appear day after day after day. It happened in one night. No one saw anything. No one knew what it was. And it was reported by multiple towns and villages throughout that 40-mile stretch. They all had the same thing happen in each of these towns. So that's why they were all getting together and trying to track down whatever this thing was. So we're going to get into theories. Jesse, do you have a theory so far of what this could be?
Something with one leg.
A pirate.
Could have been a pirate. Look at that.
Dave, do you have a theory?
Yeah, there's a biblical demon. A pirate. There's a biblical demon that has hoofed feet. He has like several hooved feet. Mm-hmm. and it's mentioned in the book of Ezekiel, but it's like all the feet are around him where you're looking at him. He almost looks like a sun,
So
and would travel a wheel
cartwheel.
Yeah, which would be weird as hell. But that rings out. I can't think of what else could possibly go into just like a complete straight line with perfectly spaced apart hoof prints. That would be, this is obviously, I don't want to say mythical, it's biblical, but if this thing like appeared in this town, it could possibly sear these footprints perfectly in a line and travel in a weird. It would probably look hilarious. But that's my ridiculous guess.
Or terrifying.
Yeah, I know.
That is the only good guess so far. Rob, do you have a guess? I mean, I don't know if you know how the story ends or not, but
I'll leave my theories to the end because I know more than you guys at this point. So that would be unfair. But I can tell you what the first guess was from one of the people in the village is, and it was a reverend. If you guys want to start with our theories.
Okay.
Was he a pirate?
No, but you would think that he would lean more towards Dave's line of thinking.
I thought they were theorizing that it was the reverend.
Oh, no. The reverend put forth this theory.
Oh, because he was guilty.
So the theories flooded in, and one of the strangest suggested culprits was a kangaroo.
No.
Yes.
One-legged kangaroo. No, I'm dismissing this. Do kangaroos have hoofed feet?
A kangaroo, because apparently in 1855, kangaroos were on some farms in England, and a reverend blamed a kangaroo specifically. Some tried to argue that the two-legged hopping motion of a kangaroo could account for the single-file pattern of the footsteps, which it couldn't because of the way that the footprints were. And I'm going to show you guys a picture of how they drew up the footprints back then in a second.
Yes.
But even if you could explain how a kangaroo hopped across frozen lakes, climbed walls, and walked across rooftops, you'd still have to explain how it vanished without being seen by the dozens of search parties scouring the countryside. Yeah, when I was reading through this and that theory came up, I was like, we're doing kangaroos here? That's our theory? What are we doing? So let me show you guys, before we go into more theories, I'm going to show you a picture. These were printed at the time in the London News. There was no scale indicated, but we gave what the description was already. So this is what the hooves look like. And you can see how they show the straight line on these. They look a little different, but I think that could just be from snow melting as they're traveling. Yeah. So, I mean, this is drawings from different people in different towns as well, as you can see.
Pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah, so that's what we're dealing with here. So yeah, very weird story so far.
Yes.
There was also the theory of a large bird.
A hoofed bird.
Some claimed a crane or heron had left the marks while walking in a straight line. But again, the idea that a bird was hopping across fields, walls, and roofs in the dead of winter and leaving behind prints that seemed burned or branded into the snow wasn't very satisfying. Others leaned toward the supernatural. Some believed it was the devil himself, prowling through Devon looking for lost souls. This wasn't just idle superstition. Clergymen of the time were seriously unsettled. They described the footprints as having cloven hooves, and when faced with the fact that they led right up to people's doors as if something was trying to get inside, it didn't seem just like an animal. So we have kangaroos, we have birds, we have devils so far. Quite the mix of different things that this could have been at this point in time.
I dug out a image of the thing that I was talking about.
Oh, let's see it.
It's a sketch. It's not like an actual photograph.
Oh, they didn't get them on camera yet.
No.
Cartwheeling.
This guy here.
Oh. Well, he's scary. I don't like him.
Yeah, it was going the wrong way.
Yeah, this is definitely the most likely subject so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that thing's terrifying.
But yeah,
It's
he would
got
wheel.
5 legs.
Yeah, it would wheel in a straight line, kind of single file like you were talking about. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It looks like the Cowardly Lion's evil cousin,
Yes.
the uncowardly lion.
The brave lion. Uncowardly sounds better. We'll go with that.
Yes.
And then there were people who insisted the prints had been seared into the snow as if by intense heat. Some said they looked as though they had been branded into the ground. This idea stuck with people because regular animals don't leave scorch marks. But what kind of creature could do that?
Dragon.
Yeah, it must have been a dragon. The next one, I thought, actually made some sense if it wasn't for how long it traveled. The next theory were that it was caused by mice or rats hopping through the snow. And I thought that made some sense for like if it was a short area, because it would probably be consistent if they're hopping,
Maybe.
but not 100 miles
No.
over one
Just
night.
by itself.
Right. Yeah, it's just crazy. It couldn't explain the 8 inches apart for 40 to 100 miles in the one night. And then other skeptics said it could have been an elaborate hoax. People using stamps or carved wood to press tracks into the snow and stir panic.
No. Where are their footprints?
Right.
Hello. Deer hoof pogo stick.
The pogo stick. We're back at it.
Yes. But if that's the case, the prankster would have had to scale buildings, leap over 14-foot walls, and somehow never get caught in the act in over 30 villages, which would be an Oscar-worthy level of commitment. You could also probably win the Heisman and, to your point, an Olympic medal.
Yeah.
In one night.
I don't think that sport is in the Olympics, though.
Oh, Hooven?
40 miles of Hooven.
Say, they have different races. We got the 20-mile Hooven race coming up and the 100-mile Hooven race. Yeah, that's
okay. A very low flying hot air balloon with a deer hoof stamp.
Boom. That is a theory, believe it or
Oh,
not.
really?
No, it is a theory.
I'm not going to notice that.
I'm throwing out the most ridiculous shit.
Not the stamp part, but the theory was that it was a hot air balloon. I didn't even write this one down, but you mentioned it, so we'll bring it up.
It's good to hear that skeptics were just as ridiculous and not fun back in the day.
So they thought it might have been a hot air balloon that was traveling so low, and like one of the saddlebags was sort of bouncing up and down. But again, even though it's nighttime, this thing goes 40 miles through multiple villages and no one sees it.
Showing up to people's doors and stuff.
Hitting their roof.
That's actually more horrifying than the demon. It's just having this hot air balloon just creep up and look in your window.
Stopping at people's windows.
Yeah, so that was, and some of the villagers believed it. Some people said it was a cover-up because of whatever reason. It was a wild theory. I'm glad you brought it up because I actually didn't write it down, but it was one of the theories that I come across for this one. So kudos to you for bringing that one up.
I brought it up completely joking.
I know, but it's so funny that it worked out. That's great.
It actually makes it even worse that it was a theory because you were completely joking.
I know.
I actually think it's one of the more plausible ones, like in terms of like how it could have happened, because you could see it. But again, for 40 miles is where it like loses me. Like, because it could have just been like skipping, right? Like, and it's the saddlebags hitting or whatever.
Hot air balloons are gigantic.
Right.
That would be, yeah.
But like it's not hitting the ground. The hot air
also not
balloon's
not as quiet as you might think. So that would have woken somebody up. It's not a goddamn hot air balloon. We can just take that right off the table.
So that's one of the other ones. Yeah, so that is the theories, and they never figured it out. They never actually.
No kangaroo ever came forward and was like, "It was me. Sorry, freaking you out.
I'm the kangaroo that did this." No, there was no kangaroo that came forward. This did happen to a lesser scale 2 other times in history in this area. Not close to this one. They were years and decades apart. So it did happen. But again, the scale was smaller. The footprints were smaller. I feel like those ones might have been just leading into this tale and someone probably faking it to replicate this and say that it was happening again. But I didn't dive as deep into those ones as I did this one.
Wounded Wendigo.
A wounded Wendigo.
Yeah, only got one leg.
Just hopping.
A woundigo. Surprised you didn't seize that opportunity.
Yeah, how did neither of us get that before he got there?
That's good.
It's upsetting. So in the decades and the centuries that followed, the Devil's Footprints of Devon became a permanent fixture in the world of unexplained phenomena. But the mystery didn't just fade into folklore. Researchers, skeptics, and paranormal enthusiasts have revisited the case time and time again, trying to make sense of what really happened that snowy night in 1855. What makes the Devil's Footprints so haunting isn't just how strange the tracks were, it's how many people saw them. Clergy, farmers, hard-nosed officials, practical folks, all witnessed the same thing, an impossible trail stretching for miles. The prints were uniform, deliberate, and defied any logical explanation. No animal, no prank, no natural phenomena that fits the facts. And yet, after the cold, silent night, the footprints simply stopped. No creature was ever caught, no explanation ever found. The trail vanished as mysteriously as it appeared, leaving behind nothing but questions. Maybe that's why the Devil's Footprints still grip us today, because some mysteries don't get solved. They just wait, lurking like footprints in the snow, frozen in time, impossible to erase. So
creepy.
Yeah, so these villages, man, I just shocked that this happened and we have no explanation. Like, it's the swamp gas thing, right? Like, they just were throwing shit out there at this point. Like,
yeah,
we don't know what it was that did this. They started, and that reverend that threw out the kangaroo thing was because he was trying to keep people calm, because he like didn't want this to become a demonic thing. So
kangaroos indigenous to this area?
No, but I looked that up too, because I was like, why are they saying kangaroos?
And just for anyone listening, I know they're not. That was a rhetorical question.
So they did bring kangaroos in to be on farms, or like, I don't know exactly what the purpose was.
A kangaroo farm.
Yeah, but they did have kangaroos in the area.
They realized that not enough humans were being lured into lakes and being fist fought. So, like, if we bring in a few kangaroos, we can increase this kind of activity.
You can pump those numbers up.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I feel like kangaroos are just too bold, that they would just be actually trying to break into the houses and stuff,
just thumping on the doors.
Yeah, ripping people out of their beds,
flying away on their hot air balloons.
It's awesome, man. I see this gang of kangaroos rolling in a hot air balloon. You better run.
Kangaroo is what they call it.
Kangaroos.
That's right. We should get a hot air balloon.
That's why we need people to sign up for Patreon, so that we can get a Hometown Ghost Stories hot air balloon.
I'm not gonna lie, if I were a Patreon member and I saw that they bought a hot air balloon, I would cancel my membership. Like, these idiots are not doing good with this money.
They are expensive. I hear hot air balloons have been rising due to inflation.
Oh, very good. Instead, we've been spending thousands of dollars on graphics like this.
Why do I get a bicycle helmet?
You don't remember this story? So I was searching. First of all, mine fit perfectly on my head instantly. I was searching during a Viking episode for Viking helmets, and when I typed in yours, I accidentally typed in biking helmet because V is right next to B. And I was like, actually, that's hilarious, and I'm going to leave it. And it's for Dave. So that's how we ended up with those.
Fantastic.
So good.
Reminds me of Super Troopers. Like show up to the bar dressed as a biker, and the girl shows up dressed in all like leather gear, and the guy walks in like a cycling outfit, and he just goes, "Oh, biker,
Biker." Yep.
So now that we've gone through the whole story and you've gotten all these amazing theories, do you guys want to revise your theories for what could have been leaving these marks?
Kangaroo, hot air balloon escape.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with it was the devil the wheelie devil though.
It really was.
With the devil spokes, with the deer hoof spokes.
Mm-hmm. Strangely, the most logical explanation out of all of the ones that
we have to seize this opportunity, and I'll be in agreement here that it was a demon trying to get in, but nobody would open the door. That's vampire lore, but we'll run with it.
I mean, this is Occam's razor. Occam's razor is like the simplest definition is usually the one that's correct, and this one actually is the wheel devil is the simplest explanation because even the pranks don't make any sense. There's no way. There's no way.
They weren't traveling that far, like on one night by themselves with no other prints in the snow. It defies explanation. It's crazy. And you have so many accounts of it. It's not like somebody just wrote this. We have different villages. You saw the different drawings from different people in different villages, all drawing essentially the same thing.
Yeah, my only logical explanation other than cartwheel demon would be like some sort of a bird that might leave those kind of prints, and maybe it hops around. And maybe there was several of them, and maybe they were just looking for food or something. But I'm gonna go bird. That's the only.
You think the bird hopped for 40 miles for over 100 miles in one night too?
I think it might have been a few birds. Maybe they showed up while migrating or something, and maybe they're not migratory. I don't know. Maybe they showed up and they were all hopping around looking for food, didn't find anything, so they flew away. That's why they never found them.
How many birds do you know that have hooves?
Well, judging from those prints, bird.
Okay.
It could logically be a cartwheel demon too, just as logically as bird.
I'm still going with cartwheel demons are number one, but birds.
Yeah. Well, we want to know what you guys think it was. Was it a hot air balloon? Was it a kangaroo? Was it a pogo stick man? Was it a cartwheel demon? Was it a hooved heron? As Jesse believed. Perhaps leave it in the comments. Let us know what you guys think it was. This was the Devil's Footprints. We will talk to you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Peace.